Now, continuing from the last video, there's just a lot of developing pattern that's very good here. We have stair-stepping lower pivot highs. So the market is stair-stepping down. So right out of the open, the buying interest from a pattern standpoint is diminishing. Descending price pivots are diminishing buying. Ascending price pivots, pullback pivot, pullback pivot. Ascending price pivots are buying. I don't need order flow tools. To heck with bubbles all over my screen that looks like, Billy Bob bubble bath. I'm sorry, guys. Those charts that have all the bubbles over them, they might be the best damn chart on earth. I hate that stuff. Just like I hate footprint charts. Doesn't mean they're not effective. It's just I don't like it. That's not how I want to visualize the market. Watching a bunch of red and yellow, red and green bubbles on a chart, or whatever color they are, is not for me. So whoever's into bubblicious, go have fun with that. I'm going to stick to just, good old regular charts. Again, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not bad mouthing them. I'm saying they don't work for me. It's like some people buy red cars, some people buy white cars, some people buy, ceramic gray metallic cars. In the end, everybody has what visualization works best for them. Okay, now here we have descending price, and then I took a shot here. That didn't really turn into much. Hey, no biggie. I didn't lose anything. Maybe I lost a couple ticks. Whoop-de-doo. That's not what blows your account out. Okay, now market lifts, and then it gives me an M pattern, rollover, and back to red. I don't see any reason at all to buy the market as of yet. None whatsoever. So when I get this lift right here and I get green, why would I buy the market? I don't have any pattern or anything giving me evidence that this should continue in the context that I'm right out of the open. So if I want to buy right out of the open, I would rather see something like when right out of the open there's some initial selling. I would rather see the market come to an area where there's some recent support, give me a price pattern and lift, then I'll be a buyer. Now, if it wasn't during the open and there's some different contexts, maybe I'd be more willing to entertain being a buyer right here. So right now, right here, after the open, so far I have a series of lower pivot highs. Then after the open, as the opening range starts to develop, I get another lower pivot high. I get an M pattern. I get a sell. That's a screaming sell to me. It's screaming out to me to take a shot to the sell side. And my stop here, if I have a faraway stop here if I have a tighter stop. Market shoots in my intended direction with some momentum. Stop to break even plus should have happened for you pretty quick. When you get green, get out of there. You got about 2 to 1. Hey, not bad. Now we've come down to recent support. Now I could see somebody entertaining being a buyer because there was a W pattern and support held. So somebody says, oh, now I want to buy that. I get it. I don't have any problem with that. And guess what? If it doesn't work, oh, you get out right here. Oh, no, I lost a few ticks or a few points. Whoop-de-doo. No big deal. Now the fact that we're at support, we got a bit of a bounce and we're rotating down. Yes, we're continuing to make lower pivot highs. I personally am not going to sell this because I'm at an area price so far that's holding. I'm not into selling right at support or right above it. Just like I'm not into buying. If this was a key level, I don't want to be buying just below recent resistance or some sort of resistance level that I'm tracking. No, thank you. Okay, market eventually breaks through there. I don't see any reason to buy yet. So If I'm a level sweep buyer, you could buy that. That's a standalone setup, and you caught a little something to work with there. Now here, the market, what does it do? Gives us an M pattern with a slightly lower pivot high and red again. That's a pretty decent shot. I could see somebody taking a sell there. This to me is good. This is like a B entry. This to me is an A plus entry. This buy here actually looks really good. This buy here looks really good. Sorry, I got my Aussie doodle playing with her toys next to me. 2.5-year-old Aussie doodle. She's cute as heck, but she's getting a little rambunctious on occasion. What else is new? Okay, so anyhow, now the market trades lower, and so there were some decent moves to the downside there. Now look at this area down here, how it forms. You get some cyclical price behavior. You got a W pattern right here. This first lift in green, I don't have any pattern there. That second time, right here where we went green, you have the W pattern in green. Okay, you get in, most recent pivot, right below, you probably got stopped out. Now the market lifts and goes green again. It's holding, that area is holding in price. I could see somebody taking another shot. Yes, you have another W that formed before that. So if somebody takes another shot there, I get it. I don't have any problem with that. I'm going to show you another type of trade entry as a result of this. That's a kind of confusing looking mess for some. Well, it's cycling. I'm going to stay out of there. Hey, that's fine. Stay out of there. Now we finally get lift out of that zone and you get a pullback and lift. These lift candles, we call them pivot bars. You could take a shot in here. Here's a entry one option. It's a magenta bar. Take a long there. Stop just below. So you got a market that was kind of trying to figure out what it wanted to do. Was it going to maintain some support or was it going to trade lower? It maintained it after some cyclical action and broke out of that range. It pulled back, never challenged these lows, and I got two pivot bars back to back that I could have taken a shot at. These are the pivot bars, these more extended bars. See how we got a lot of lift right there? So that's a pivot bar. The market pivoted to a point that it made enough distance in reversal that it created a pivot. Now the fact that this one's colored in magenta is because price came and interacted with the trend bias portion of our indicator and then lifted. So there's your close. I could see somebody now, and I would agree, I would say that makes sense. We've gotten out of that congestion, micro congestion. It wasn't developed over days or an extended period of time. It was, played out over minutes of the day. During the intraday session, the market left that area, was able to start breaking away, gave you one more pullback. That pullback was in alignment with a recent price. So the market is doing what now? It's stair-stepping higher. Stair-step higher, lift, pivot bar, good entry. Equal, we're not stair-stepping lower, we're stair-stepping higher. Now you got an entry one, take a shot, stop just below, get 1-to-1, stop to break even plus, stay in the trade, stay in the trade. Finally, it pulls back as your red bar. You at least made something on it, even if you played it all the way out. So this would be an area I'd be paying a lot of attention to in that long. These two pivots, to not get all the way up there and get a pivot bar. A couple more bars later, I'd really be watching it here, ready to blip out of that trade. So I can hold as much of that profit as I can. So that's roughly about 2-to-1 area. So just shy of it, most likely. And the nice thing, this time frame I'm on, it's not like these bars are moving super fast. You got plenty of time to see the patterns and make your decisions. Now I really like this set up a little bit later. Here's an area of support that developed earlier. What do? We came right back to it and tested it. Got a wondrous W pattern and lift. There's I think that's an A+. I thought that was a A+ entry too. Then if you didn't get in there, you get lift, pull back, and you get an entry one option. That's a really good entry one option. You're an entry option one after the market is lifted out of a support test, held, and right after W pattern lift. And what do? Stair stepping higher, lift, pivot bar. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Objects in the mirror appear bigger than what they are. Just kidding. And that was a beauty, getting an entry option one bar right after that kind of pattern. I even like this. Lift, yeah, we go red a little bit. I don't see any reason to be a seller here unless somebody's paying attention to this. We did test that, very recent pivot. I would have rather have seen the predominant pivots up here tested before being a seller in this market. This market, it looks more like it's getting bought and getting supported. I don't want to sell just above that. I've got some prominent pivots from earlier in the day right here. And the fact that we didn't quite get up in that area to test doesn't get me too excited about being a seller. I'd rather see the test fail and get a sell closer to that area than way down here. And you can kind of see it. Buyers coming in, buyers coming in. When buyers come in, it kind of hooks. You'll see that hook. Looks like a bit of a hook. That's the visual that our tools give us, the way they're configured. Now, this is what I like later on. We had a pullback lift, beginning of a W pattern is another part of that overall makeup of sellers losing control back to buyers. I actually really like this. We came back, we pulled back, and we lifted again. I'd be willing to take a buy right there. It's not that's like a B because I do have some near-term resistance. But the way I look at it, whatever my risk is on the trade, and I'm not going to have my risk way down at that pivot. That's too far. You can come in and put the risk somewhere below the color transition trend bias portion of the indicator. At least I know if I can get a run up there and it fails, that's plenty of room to be on 1-to-1 reward to risk to get me to break even plus. And it might break out and go back in the prior range. And boy, has the market done that a lot. That's been happening a lot. Even on sell days, they'll come and they'll bring in the investment banks playing with Fed discount window money pumper team and clean it right up many a days. So again, it's just paying attention to price pattern from a bigger picture structural standpoint. Support held, stair step higher, boom, I get a green. That's a market that based out big fat structural W pattern on the day. Now I'm getting the pullback after the W and getting a way to engage. I got some resistance up here, but it's far enough away that I can get to my 1-to-1 plus so I can get my break even. And if that breaks, that's one that's going to run hard. And it didn't. It bumbled around, gave you plenty of time to say, it's not going anywhere. Get a red, get out of there, take your profit on that, call it a day. It's already past noon U.S. Central Time. Who in the heck wants to be trading anymore on that day? So price pattern trading is a really smart way. Now let's go look at the settings for those that want to know my settings. Okay, run smoothing period 19, length 19, sensitivity factor 0.5 for this particular chart setup. Lime red, magenta for my entry option 1. Entry option 2s, I have them kind of a neutral color and really paying attention in this scenario. So there you have it. That's on the ES. Now let me go do a video, part 3 on the NQ.